Hello. Hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. Today we are live talking about how you can and will attract big money fast with the techniques we're going to talk about today. And yes, please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Nice to see everybody here. Already, thank you so much, Jessica Flynn. I see your super chat. I'll get to that question in just a minute. And also, thanks to Vibe Conscious for another super sticker. You've been starting me off with super stickers lately. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm also on Facebook. So if you see me on Facebook, say hello. But yes, do you guys hear me in the chat? Hopefully you do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get going. Today we're going to talk about, again, attracting big money fast with the law of attraction. And so as I'm going through, if you have abundance questions, feel free to go ahead and drop those into the chat because I'll be stopping to answer those periodically. But in this live, I have some money attracting advice for you today. And this is all geared towards getting you to attract larger sums quickly. All right. So it's a really important thing to understand how to do. And let's go ahead and jump on into it. Even if you haven't been attracting large sums of money, you can absolutely switch it very quickly. Just like somebody can switch being single into a relationship very quickly, you can switch from not attracting a lot of money to attracting money very quickly. And there are certain things that you can do that it can enhance this process for you. And so I'm going to start off today with one of my first ones. All right, one of my first ones. And my first, oh, yes, you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it on YouTube. So one of my favorite techniques for getting money to flow to you quickly has to do with getting on a roll. And so this is a technique that I really love, especially for people who haven't attracted large sums yet or haven't attracted a lot of large sums yet. And it's also really great for people who maybe you have attracted large sums in the past, but right now your money's kind of in a rut. Okay. So we all can get into that energy sometimes where it's not flowing so fast. You can use the get it on a roll strategy to attract more money quickly. Okay. So, sorry, I got distracted on Facebook. All right. So, what you can do for this one is pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to pick an amount of money that's pretty logical for you to attract. So, maybe it's $5, maybe it's $50, but try and think of a sum of money that's not a lot of money, okay? Not by your definition. And instead of trying to attract, say, $50,000, you're really just going to try to attract that $5 or that $10 or that $50, whatever a very safe and reasonable amount is, okay? Now, what you do with this technique is that you intend for that very safe amount to come to you. Okay. So universe, I would like to attract $5 today. Okay. Sounds like nothing. All right. But because it's nothing, it will be very easy for you to attract. Oh, thank you, Snow Sparkle. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat there, super sticker. Thank you. All right, so since this dollar amount is very, very easy for you to attract, you put it out there, and when it comes, get really excited about it. Okay, oh my gosh, I attracted that $5. Wow, look at me go. This is so amazing. Okay, now what happens with this is that you can intend again to attract another $5. Okay, this is great. Let me see if I can do some more. And that will start to do is it will start to allow you to draw in that small amount of money again and again and again. And what you'll notice is that it starts to ramp up. Okay. So to where you can be attracting a lot of money very quickly. So for me, for this is something that I do if I see that sales are stalling out. So I'm in business. So if I'm noticing that I'm not doing too well with sales, I'll put it out there that I want to attract a $17 sale because the cheapest thing on my website is $17. Okay. I want to attract a $17 sale. When it comes in, I get very excited that I intend for more. And a very interesting thing happens is that as that starts to ramp up, then people start signing in and ordering things that are even bigger. So some of my courses that are like $100 or $500, all of a sudden those start flying off the shelf. And so I've taken this strategy many times to go from having like a goose egg or a very slow business day to ramping it up to making thousands of dollars. Now, I've done this a number of times, so I'm well rehearsed with it. But you go ahead and watch this for yourself. Try this out with a very small amount of money. Make it your intention to attract it and then get excited about it. And you'll get on a roll where you start attracting more, more, more. Okay. It's kind of like, sometimes I get questions about people seeing the number 1111. And they'll say, Andrea, what does it mean? I'm seeing 1111 everywhere. I'm seeing it every time it comes on the clock. Why is this happening? Well, the more they see it and celebrate it, the more it comes, the more it comes, the more it comes. And so you can use that same strategy for small dollar amounts to get on a roll, to ramp it up to where it's really coming in. And again, this is a fantastic strategy because it bridges the gap between, low resistance and high resistance. You may be very resistant today to attract $10,000, but you're not very resistant today, hopefully, to attract $2. So if you can use that $2 and ramp it up, you can get to the thousands of dollars. I hope that makes sense. And you can do it quite quickly. All right. So that's my first suggestion on how to attract money fast. And that is the topic for today's video. Again, if you've got questions about manifesting, go ahead and drop them into the chat. I see some of you showing up here on Facebook. Feel free to say hi as you come in, like the video. And thanks so much for signing in here. Hello to see Jessica, Alexis, Rudia, Living in Gratitude, back again. Nice to see you. Tutu, Carlton, nice to see you again. Sprinkle Magic, nice to see you again. Cowlitz Bill, Blogger XO, Salika Rich, Wish Fulfilled. Hello, everybody. And I do have a super chat I need to get to real quick because Jessica started us off here with a question on YouTube. Hi, Andrea. I'm 43 and struggling with heart issues. Okay, Jessica. So my question to you is, are we talking about the physical heart or are we talking about like love? Okay. If you would drop that into the chat for me and just say like Jessica in all caps and tell me which heart you're talking about. Okay. If you happen to be talking about love, you will notice that if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I have linked up a link to my magnetic appeal program. That's actually gone live today with a huge sale. It is my attraction program to make you a magnet to a very satisfying and fulfilling relationship, to make you very appealing to people that you are interested in. It is good for really anyone in any kind of relationship situation. So whether you're single, whether you're dealing with an ex, whether you're married and you want to improve your relationship, whether you're male, female, and it doesn't matter your gender or your sexual preferences. Okay. So if you are interested in learning how to use the law of attraction to magnetize romantic attraction, to cultivate a sense of self-worth that you're worthy of love, and to create very satisfying and lasting passion in a relationship, go ahead and check out that program. Again, the link is both in YouTube as well as Facebook. My lovely assistant, Mary, would you go ahead and drop that? Make sure it's in Facebook for me. And if it's not, if you would drop it in there, I'd appreciate it. When you check out, make sure to use the coupon code to get the discount. The coupon code is CONNECT. That's CONNECT. All right. Moving right along. Oh, Jessica, you did say that right underneath it. There it is. Okay. You were talking about the other heart. Okay. Hi, Andrea. I'm 43 and have been struggling with heart rhythm issues. I've been going in and out of AFib and have hours of arrhythmia almost every day. Can I LOA my way out of this? Thank you. Yes. Yes, you can. So, one of the big things with the physical ailments is that you don't want to feed into them too much. So, if you need to go see the doctor, you go see the doctor. If they give you medication, you take the medication. Do all those things because that'll help you feel like it's under control or that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. This can be done, by the way, without medication, without doctors. But the issue with that really is believability. Okay. If we've gotten ourselves into a situation where there's some kind of more serious, quote unquote, serious health issue, the resistance is so big at that point that it's silly to try to wing it on your own because you're probably just not going to believe that you can do it on your own right away. And that's okay. Your job really is to back out of it slowly. And what I mean about that is, again, go ahead and take the medication, go to the doctor, do all those things. But what you really want to do at this point is try to step out of over talking about it, oversharing about it. A lot of times when we have health conditions, we want to tell people about them. We want to identify with them. And you want to shift away from that into doing other things that make you feel healthy, make you feel powerful, make you feel strong. So, what I might be doing in your situation is thinking about areas in specific where you feel strong, where you haven't been noticing these issues. So, are there particular activities, times of day, things that you do where all of that really isn't going on? Identifying what those things are and spending more time on those will be great because it's going to get you out of that vibration of focusing in on the problem. And when we focus in on the problem, we exacerbate it, we make it bigger. Other things to do is I might contemplate the question: how do I have a healthy heart? How is my heart healthy? How is my heart strong? Well, it's got me to 43. Things been beaten for 43 years. Okay. You want to dwell on those kinds of topics because it'll get your mind away from the idea that my heart is broken and instead into the idea that I have a powerful heart. It is strong. Okay. Those would be my top two suggestions for that one off the top. Thanks again for your super chat. Alexis asks, you've talked before about finding evidence of your new belief. Would you give me an example of evidence of the new belief it does not take a lot of money to make money? Ooh, it does not take a lot of money to make money. Hmm. I might change it. It does not take a lot of money. So the emphasis in that statement is takes a lot of money. You see? So universe doesn't hear not, doesn't hear no. I can make a lot of money as I am. I can make a lot of money taking it easy. Those might be ways I might rephrase it so we're not focused on the idea of it taking money because just within that statement, we're focused on the idea of it taking money. Does that make sense? As for evidence, I mean, there's so much evidence. Okay, like think about like a baby who's born into, a semi-wealthy family. That baby's doing nothing. Okay, that's some evidence. You know, if you go to, I've told you guys before, I've moved to a nicer area, and so now my kids go to a nicer high school, and I've been volunteering at the marching band at the football games. And so when you go to the football games, it's pretty interesting because these kids have got some money. They didn't do anything for it. Okay. They're wearing Lululemon. They got their nice bags. Like they're driving up in nice cars. They didn't do anything for it. Okay. That's evidence. Okay. So looking for evidence of people who have done absolutely nothing, and there's plenty of them. That's what I might be looking into. Oh, we got a few coming in here on Facebook. Hello, Mary Day. Hello, Andrea. You're such an inspiration. I love your work and videos. Thank you. Lisa, I have a new business. I'm letting go of an old one for the new one, and I have not seen any sales in my new one. And to be honest, I'm stressing as I'm wanting it to be my main source of income with the desire of 5 figures a month. Any tips to call in this money fast? Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a number of things you can do. The business one, the get on the roll that I was talking about earlier, you haven't seen any sales. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to get sales rolling. Once you get like something small, I might try that get on a roll technique. Ask for something small. Pitch something small, okay? Something that's so small it's believable. So like I was saying, if sales are lulling for me, I'll try to manifest a $17 sale, like a very small sale, just to get that going and then celebrate it, get excited for it, and allow that to ramp up. Okay, try the get on the roll technique for that one. All right, again, we are talking about how to manifest big money fast, which you can. And again, our first technique was the get on the roll technique. The second technique, and I've been slacking on this one. So now I realized it when I was putting together the topic today. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been slacking on this. Let me get back to it. You want to desensitize large amounts of money. Okay, desensitize. So when we're struggling to attract large amounts of money, the idea is that that is like a precious amount or it's a hard amount to achieve. And frequently, if not almost always, if somebody is not having an easy time attracting large sums of money, they get really tied up in a knot about money. Okay, so got to keep it in the bank. I got to save it. I don't want to spend it. Even if they're struggling with money and they spend, maybe I'll put it on a credit card because I don't want to part with my own money. But there's this stress about the money, and so what you want to do to attract large sums quickly is you want to desensitize yourself to money. And so I've talked about this before in another live. One thing I do in my purse, I always keep large sums of money. Okay. So I try to make sure I have at least $1,000 on me at all times. Okay. Another thing that I stopped doing this, I don't know why, but I went ahead and just did it again yesterday because I realized I'd stopped doing this. On my cork board back there, you can't see it, but I have $800 just tacked up in full plain view. In my desk drawer, I have, and my desk is actually turned around, the desk drawer is over there. But in my desk drawer, I've got tons of like singles and fives and tens, and that double duties for me in that I always see money when I'm going in the drawer. Okay, so I'm used to seeing it. And then also, if my kids need $5 or, sometimes you need $1 or $10, there's always cash in there on hand. Now, this is a really great strategy because what it does is it programs you to really get used to always having money around you. I always have money around. I always have 1,000 on me. I always have 1,000 over here. And it's like when that's the message that you put out, you become more of a magnet to those kinds of sums of money. Okay. It's like saying, I always have money around me. I always have money around me. The other thing that it does is it cuts out that stress about money. I was watching, there was this sales coach from like the 80s. I don't know. This was some old YouTube video I wandered across. And it was funny because he was trying to coach people on how to get more comfortable with money. And he pulled like a $20 bill out of his wallet and he brought someone up to the stage and gave him a lighter and told him to light it on fire. And the guy was like really stressed out. Like, there's no way I could do that. That's just, sacrilege. Now, I know technically I'm pretty sure that's illegal. So you're not supposed to do that. But the real thing was that he couldn't fathom getting, mutilating or destroying $20. Like it was that big of a deal. You don't want to look at money that way. You want to look at it as just another piece of paper. Okay. Because when it's not that important to you, when it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to you, you'll attract a lot of it really quickly. Okay. Because when we think something is small, what that means energetically is it's attainable, it's achievable. So the more money that you can get around you, the better. Now, I know for some of you, you may not have an extra 2 grand to lay around your house. Okay. That's okay. Start with what you can. And you can also do things like make your desktop screensaver dollar bills or euros or whatever your currency is. The screensaver on your phone, do the same thing. Put pictures of money up. Okay. But get the image of it normalized so that it's just a normal thing you see all the time. Real money's best Okay, because there is kind of this feeling that the real money is intrinsically valuable. All right, but if you don't have a ton of money, put out what you can and supplement with images around you. Hello, Bartos from Romania. Thanks for joining in on Facebook. Hello, Maria from Canada. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for the stars, Jacqueline. I just enabled stars. You're my first stars sender. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Nice to see y'all. Again, if you have questions about manifesting money, feel free to drop them into the chat. Try to answer as many of these as I can. Sylvie, hi, Andrea. Would like your input about two paradoxical techniques. Which one is best? The letting go manifestation or the repetitive affirmation? Thanks, you're the master of the law of attraction. Well, thank you. I like both, but for different reasons. Letting go, I think, is best for actual tangible things. Okay, especially if they're bigger. They're bigger. Okay, so things that you define as being big, getting to that place where you can detach is very important. So when we start to repetitively affirm things like "I am a millionaire," "I am a if we don't believe that, we're going to be blocking against that barrier. Okay, so but for repetitive affirmations, I really like those for shifting beliefs. So instead of asking for something, shifting beliefs, repetitive affirmation is good. Okay, so things like, I am smart, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am whatever, I'm amazing. Those are really good because it will start to program your subconscious mind to think along those lines. And just saying a statement like that, repetitively isn't really asking for anything specific. So there's not going to be that high degree of resistance. Now, if you're asking for something small, repetitive affirmations perfectly fine. But if it's something big, letting go, I feel is great in tandem with affirming new belief structures that support your ability to get that dream. Okay. So, like if the dream is you want to be a millionaire, well, affirming the idea that I'm abundant, how am I abundant, and all of your abundant ways will be helpful in getting there. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Susan Safri, if retired, how to get more money? I get that question a lot. I don't have the job anymore. So, how am I supposed to get more money? Well, one thing to understand is that people who attract a lot of money often don't have a job at all, or they have multiple streams of income, or they're getting it from ways other than just a typical paycheck. So, being retired is not an impediment to attracting money. What is an impediment to attracting money is believing that money comes from one source and that my one source has dried up. So, and this is common because if you've worked a job for 40, 50, 60 years or whatever, and you had that belief that so many people have that my money comes from my work, well, when the work goes away, naturally you're going to feel like, well, my ability to attract money is far less. But what I would look at is this is an opportunity for me to explore attracting money in different ways. Now I'm not busy having to go to work all the time. And I have the ability to focus on attracting money in a multitude of ways that I didn't have the time to focus on before. It's an opportunity. So, one thing you'll want to do is you're going to want to notice the different ways that money can come and does come. So, if you have anything that's paying off dividends or interest, if you're getting any rebates, if a friend ever picks up a check, okay, if money ever comes your way in any type of fashion, you want to focus on that to drum that up. Another thing I would start to look at is how are people attracting money in ways other than jobs? Because that's going to get you to open your mind up to the ability to attract money through multiple avenues that have nothing to do with work. Okay, so the retirement thing might seem like it's working against you. I would say it's actually helping you because heretofore, it sounds like the belief structure was money had to come through the job, which probably really narrowed your ability to attract it. Now that the job's not there, you have the time to focus on attracting it in multiple ways by noticing it and focusing on it. Because when you notice that money comes in multiple ways, you'll get it in different ways. When you focus on that, you'll get it. Okay. Just drop something. Hold on a second here. All right. Again, today we are talking about attracting big money fast. Big money fast. Again, if you've got questions, go ahead and drop them into the chat. If you have not yet, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, do follow me on Facebook. I make lives like this every single week. And of course, I'd love for you to come along for the ride. Also, if you haven't yet taken my manifesting test, please make sure to do that. I know a lot of you have taken it, but if you haven't yet, it's a very free, quick 5-minute test where you can put something out and watch it come back. And it will prove to you that you are the creator of your reality, which is very important because until you really get that you're doing it, you may have some blocks there that you don't really need to have. Okay. So it's very empowering to see this working in action. And so if you'd like to take this test, again, it's free, it's 5 minutes, it's very fast, and you can find it at manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. My lovely assistant, Mary1111, has already dropped that into the YouTube chat. And I think she's probably going to put it into Facebook for me too. If you would go ahead and drop that into Facebook, Mary, I would appreciate it. And yeah, all right. So let's get back to it. So we've talked about a couple of ways to attract big money fast. The first one was that get on a roll technique. That one's gold. Okay. You definitely want to try that one out. The next one is desensitizing large amounts of money. For the next one, this is the windfall strategy. The windfall strategy. And I made a whole video about this, and I'll try to remember to link it in when I'm done with the live. So if you come back to the replay, hopefully I'll have that link in there for you. But the windfall technique is a lot of fun for a couple of reasons, which is that, not only can it help you attract more money, but it can also help you get rid of the fear of losing money. Oh, Salika, thank you for the super there. I appreciate it. Not sure when that came in, but thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Oh, it looks like it's your first one too. Give that a little heart. Thank you. Okay. So the windfall technique is fun because, again, it's going to help you attract money, and it's also going to help you stop worrying about losing money. Okay. Because when we worry about losing money, we lose more of it. Okay. And this is one of the main things that interferes with people's ability to accumulate money. Sometimes people get pretty good at attracting money, but they have a hard time holding on to it. Okay. Show of hands. Who's had this before? I get a lot of people that talk about this. Andrea, I can attract money, but it just goes away as soon as I get it. Well, that's created by worrying about expenses. So if a bill comes in, freaking out about it, that will attract more bills. If something happens, like your air conditioner breaks and you worry about paying for it, that will attract more situations where money goes out. So what this technique does is it inverses the relationship, where now, instead of worrying about losing money, I want you to get excited about expenses. Get excited about expenses, because this will actually help you attract money quickly. So if you're like most of us, you got bills coming in the mail regularly or through your email, you see this stuff coming in a lot. There are things that happen where you need new tires, and if you're an adult, this is life, okay? And so you're probably going to experience this from time to time. And what I want you to do from here on out is I want you to look forward to your opportunity to practice this strategy. So when you have an expense that comes in, this is an opportunity for you to practice letting go of the amount with ease so that you can receive more. I like to look at expenses as tests. They're like tests from the universe. How much are you able to let go of? Because the more you are willing to let go of, the more of a match you are going to be to receive. And I've seen this time and time again for myself and for other people, which is that when they're able to detach from the money and let it go easily, the message that they send to the universe is that this is just a drop in the bucket. This is a drop in the bucket. And when you can do that, then all of a sudden the universe will reward you with more money. It's like you pass the test. Now, If you get the expense and you cling to it and you freak out about it, it's like the universe sees, okay, that's too much. So we got to take more until they pass the test. Okay. So when you have an expense, you're either going, depending on how you relate to it, you're either going to attract more expenses or you're going to attract more money. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. For this windfall technique, this can be done in many ways. Somebody was asking about, I got a question about business over here on Facebook, and then I had a question over here about, does it take money to make money? You know, it's okay if it takes money to make money because you can look at if it does and you can use the expense technique. Okay, so for instance, one thing that I decided last year was to take on a few more employees. Okay, that's an expense. That's an expense. It quote unquote should have brought my bottom line down, but it didn't. Instead, it massively increased the amount of money that I made because I looked at the expense as, okay, I'm just going to spend the money. Easy peasy. I can let go of this money. And then more started to come back almost immediately into my business. I've done this time and time again. Okay. So keep this in mind with your expenses. Your expenses are a huge opportunity for you to level up financially. Because if you've been freaking out about a $50 gas bill, okay, but you can shift into being okay of letting go of $1,000 for tires, your ability to attract large sums is going to skyrocket. I promise you. Okay. So the way that you look at expenses can enable you to attract big money fast. The bigger the expense, the better. Now, a lot of times people think when I say that, well, aren't I just going to attract more expenses? No, because you're not pushing against them anymore. The reason you attract large expenses that you don't want is because you're fearful of them. They get a lot of vibrational juice. But if instead you kind of have this attitude of whatever, if it comes in, I'll shift it and make money. Now you're not fighting against it and you're not going to align with those more quote unquote negative outcomes. But if they do arise, you have a tremendous opportunity to attract big money fast. So that's my next technique. Hello, Donna. Can I pay cash 3 months ahead? Yes, sir, you can. Pay 6. Cowlitz Bill, it's my second business anniversary, and I sense a big inflow of money from all sources. Congrats on your second business anniversary year. You're off the ground and running now. Sally, Andrea, I've been manifesting for 10 years, and for some reason, after a bad disappointment in my career, I am stuck and can't manifest much anymore. Any ideas on what's going on and how to fix it? Good question. The operative word there is stuck. Okay. So this will happen even if you're a good manifester, guys. You guys have probably all experienced this where you have times where you're doing really good. And sometimes the energy peters out and you end up kind of stuck. So the first thing I would say is that you didn't do anything wrong. Okay. It's energy. Energy goes in and out, up and down. And when we kind of fall into that more stuck vibration, it does pull us in. Just like a positive vibration will pull us up, a negative vibration will pull us down. Okay. So that's to be expected. So if you had a disappointment and you dwelled on it, which a lot of people will, it will bring you down and down and down. Now, the good news is that you have options. You can continue to go with the downward momentum if that's easier, because I know that sounds horrible, but what will happen is at some point you'll kind of get to this point where you're kind of fed up and you'll use it as fuel to bounce back up. Okay. So this is one thing I've seen before. Like maybe sometimes I just get really stuck. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be stuck as long as I am. And when I get inspiration, I'll bounce out of this. And eventually, what will happen is that the light will kind of come on and I'll start moving back upwards. Another thing I might try doing, this temporary disappointment is going to propel me really far into the future. Or this disappointment from the past is really going to level me up down the road. Have you ever seen this happen, guys, where you go through a really crappy period of time in life and at some point you decide to start coming out of it and then everything starts lining up and life gets on a new trajectory and it ends up being that blessing in disguise? That's something that you want to think about with this situation. Maybe what happened is shifting you out of a reality you weren't really feeling anymore. And it's giving you just the shake that you need to move in a slightly different direction and start amplifying momentum. And then finally, another thing I would do is get back to basics. So you may be really good at manifesting things, but when we're in that stuck vibration, it can be really stressful to try and manifest big stuff because we're not vibrationally there. So when you're in a situation like this, take all the manifestation off the table. The relationship, the money, all of it. Just take it off the table. You got one job right now. And the only job I have right now is to try and enjoy myself as much as I can. So if that means self care, if that means hanging out with friends, do whatever it takes to feel as good as you can with no expectation, zero expectation of anything else happening for you. Okay. This is really important because if you give yourself just that one job, it's a simple job. We don't need to worry about everything else. We got one job. I can focus on feeling a little bit better. Okay. And that will build momentum. Again, momentum is your friend. So if you can focus on that one job, I'm going to feel better. That's all I want to do is feel a little bit better, feel a little bit better. Just like that get on a roll technique, your vibration will get on a roll and you'll start feeling more optimistic. You'll start feeling better. And then you're going to start seeing that you start attracting things, not things that you necessarily made intentions for, but suddenly the weather will get better, or your hair will look better, or an old friend will call, or you'll find $5 on the floor. You're going to start lining up with positive experiences, and that's going to build your confidence back up. Okay, so just keep playing that game until you start to really see the magic again and you get back into that confidence. And once you're really in there, then you can go back to trying to manifest big things. Okay, but for right now, you got one job. Okay, that's what I tell myself when I get stuck. I got one job today, that's it. And you can clear that out in a day. It doesn't take that much effort. Oh, let me see if I said the name right. Is it Selene? 90? Thank you for the super chat. Here's our question. Selene asks, how can I manifest buying a house? I was approved for a mortgage in the spring, but I couldn't find a house I love in my price range. Well, you can keep looking. What often happens is that when we don't find something, that little devil voice gets in there. Oh, you're not going to find it. Oh, you're not going to find it. Oh, you're not going to find it. Okay. And then you can kind of end up on a goose chase where you're looking for something that you can't find. You're looking for something that you can't find. So what we want to do is you're going to want to change how you're going about this search so that it's coming at it from fresh energy. So, maybe you've been looking on the MLS or maybe you've been working with a specific realtor. There's some way that you've been doing it, but the energy with that way has become stagnant because I have started to associate that when I do this, things don't happen. So, what you want to do is you want to shake it up and come up with a new way of looking for a home and to make the process of home buying more fun, more fun. Um, yeah, so I would try to make a game out of it if I could. Like what's the closest instead of let me try to find the perfect house, what's the closest approximation? Maybe I can find something that's within $100,000 of what my asking price. Now see if you change that around. So now I'm just looking for stuff to see if I can find it. So what I mean by that is let's say maybe you've got 300,000 to spend on a house, okay? And you're trying to find a house to come in at 300,000. It's not coming, it's not coming. Make a game out of it. Can I find something I really love for 400? Just to see if you can find it. Now, I don't mean that you have to buy that house, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to flip the energy that I looked for the perfect house and I found it. I looked for the perfect house and I found it. So I find it at 400. I find it at 400. I find another one at 400. Well, then once I have the confidence, Then I could drop the price down. Can I find something I love for 350? Okay, I found one. I found one. I found How about 325? I found one. Do you see what I mean? Play with it that way so that you can have success in finding something. I hope that makes sense. Because right now the energy is I can't find it at this price. I can't find it at this price. Change the price in your mind so you can start finding them and noticing, oh, I'm manifesting them. I'm manifesting them. And then you can gradually bring that price point down. That's what I might do. Salika just bought the Magnetic Appeal program. Thank you, Salika. I hope you enjoy it. Yes, guys, that's on sale for 1 week only. And I will not be putting it on sale for at least another year because I got lots of courses and I don't want to run sales every 15 minutes. So that course will be 50% off for this week. If you're interested, it's a love attraction program. And I have links both on Facebook and on YouTube if you're interested in checking that one out. All right, again, today we're talking about attracting big money fast. I got another suggestion for you. And I have to be reminded, some of these I'm writing down are things that I had to remind myself because you can go up and go down. Okay. So sometimes you want to give yourself a money tune up. And this was one that I recognized not that long ago was having a negative impact on me. So I had to tighten up the screws. Something I knew, but just like you're supposed to do this, but then you slide back into bad habits. Okay. It sounds really snotty and uppity. I'm just going to preface it by saying that it really does. However, if you want to attract big money fast, you want to do this as much as possible, as much as possible. Okay. And it is to get around the wealthy and stay there. Get around the wealthy and stay there. And depending on where you are financially, you may not be surrounded by a lot of wealthy people, and that's okay. But what I want you to start doing is take inventory of your surroundings. Where are the wealthy neighborhoods? Where are the wealthy restaurants? Where are the wealthy grocery stores? Where are the wealthy people? And you want to put yourself around said people as much as possible. And as much as possible, you want to dissociate from people who are resonating on a lower financial frequency from yourself. Because what will happen is that you will either get pulled up financially or you will get pulled down. So like I've mentioned many times, I moved here and this was for this specific reason, was that I noticed it in the last community that I was living in, was that if I was going to more wealthy places, that was helping me attract more money. And so when we had an opportunity to move, I really wanted to move to this community because it was the wealthiest community relatively near me. And the year that I moved here, I attracted a lot more money very quickly. Like my business really jumped up. Why? Because I'm surrounded now by people who make money. I'm surrounded by people driving luxury cars. I'm surrounded by an abundant mindset. And when you're around it, it normalizes. Have you ever been around a friend who has a phrase that they use? And because you're around that friend, you start picking up that phrase and using it. I used to watch The Sopranos. Have any of you guys watched The Sopranos? It's a really high vibration television show. But it's about the mafia, and they've got this one character named Paulie. And when the show came out, I was like 21, 22. I was pretty young. And Paulie, and actually quite a few of the characters, used a word that's not a word. And the word is irregardless. Irregardless. If you didn't know this, now you know, okay? The word is regardless. Irregardless is not a word. I didn't know that though at the time. And so because I kept hearing them say irregardless, irregardless, I just started saying it. I started sounding like I didn't know what I was talking about because I was watching a show, listening to people who were saying things that they didn't know that they were talking about. And so the same thing happens with money. And like I said, I had kind of a come to Jesus, so to say, experience a few months back where I noticed that I was leaving this community more. I was spending more time outside of it, and I was hanging around in lower abundant places, and it did take a toll on my bottom line. And so getting back over here, getting my nose back in the wealthy areas allowed my money to go back up. And so this is a very important, it's very easy. And the beauty of it is wherever you are, you can make an improvement. Okay. So wherever you are, don't worry about cutting off all your friends and family. You don't need to do that, but make an improvement. Make it your mission to get around some more wealthy areas. Maybe, go to the nice restaurant. Maybe you can't afford to eat there, but you could sit at the bar. Okay. Maybe go to the nice mall. Maybe you can't afford to shop there, but you could at least go in there and walk around and look, but make it your mission to get around wealthy people because through the process of osmosis, you will start to attract like those people do. It's one of the most simple things, literally, that you can do to attract big money fast is just to get around wealthy people and stay there as much as you can. Salika, I don't know how to add a question to the super chat I sent. Is it this question, Salika? How do I balance the flow of money into my life? I get large sums of money, pay off any debt, etc. Then it's gone and it takes longer than feels good for more to come in. How to balance the flow of money into my life? I get large sums of money, pay off any debt, and then it's gone and then it takes longer. Okay. So it sounds like you're having kind of that feeling of, I've noticed this in people before, especially when it comes to debt. I don't want to spend my money because then it's gone. So that's how people get into debt in the first place a lot of times is that I got to hold on to my money. So let me put it on a credit card. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to kind of, you're doing the right thing. Okay. So if you're taking the money and paying down the debt, you're actually doing a really abundant thing. So let's just talk a little bit about why this is so that you can feel on board with this. Instead of feeling like the money's been taken from you, you can feel like you've made money rather than spent money. Okay. So I'm sure you know that when you have debt, you pay interest, right? Or you're paying credit card fees or whatever. Okay. So if you have, let's say, $1,000 that comes in and it just sits in your bank account, you have $1,000. Okay. You still have that $1,000 of debt over here on the credit card because you didn't pay it off. So you're at a zero. Okay. You're balancing out at zero. However, on the credit card, since you're still carrying a balance, now you're paying fees. So now maybe you're paying $20 a month in fees. Paying off that credit card is actually an investment because now you're getting back to $20. That's how you want to look at it. Is that I like paying the debt is an investment because it's putting an extra $20 in my pocket. It's putting an extra $50 in my pocket. It's putting an extra $100 in my pocket. That's the inverse that you want to be looking at, okay? Rather than the money was taken from me. The money wasn't taken from you. You had 1,000 over here and a negative 1,000 over here. The swap was even. With what you did, you made money, okay? That's what you want to be saying is I made money with this. This was an investment. Because if you look at it as an investment, what does an investment means? An investment means I'm going to get money. And so the mind is focused on my action is making me money. My actions are making me money, which will allow you to attract more money to reaffirm that belief. Okay, it just sounds like you're still kind of holding on to that residual feeling a lot of people have that gets them into debt in the first place. I don't want to spend my money because I'm not going to have it. So I'm going to put it on the credit card. Okay. That actually costs you money in the long run, doesn't save you money. Your actions right now are making you money. Okay. That's what you want to be focused on. So think about that, dwell on that. The other thing is, like I said before, the more you can let go of easily, the more you will attract. So the next time you do that, get in here. Okay, am I fighting it or can I just let it go? Because if I can just let it go, I'm going to pass the test from the universe. The universe will say, "Oh, it's easy for her to let go of 1,000. Well, give her 2,000 back." Okay, but how you feel when you let it go is the determiner. Okay, in that moment. So the next time you make that payment, remind yourself of that technique I talked about earlier. Super helpful. Mid-city enlightenment. The affirmation, money is like air, money is everywhere. Always pulls me in over 10,000 every time. Yeah, I love that affirmation. Money is like air, money is like water. People think of money as being like some limited resource, and that's what causes it to be limited in their reality. But if you remember that this universe is infinite, that means that money is infinite. There's not a limited supply of it. It is just as easy to access as money or as water or air would be. The only reason it isn't for some people is because they feel a scarcity of it. So that's a really great affirmation. Money is like air. Shannon, morning, Andrea. Finally got you live. Love your teachings from Canada. Thank you, Shannon. MNR. Hi, Andrea. What if I want the dream car right now? What to do when I feel impatient for the car to show up like yesterday? Please help. Okay. So the biggest thing is to like totally get on board with I don't need it, I don't even want it. I don't need it, I don't even want it. I don't even want it anymore. Because when you don't even want something anymore, that's when it shows up. If you're that impatient, it just means you're really clinging. Okay. So if you're really clinging, that means there's a lot of resistance keeping it away. But it also means that there's a lot of energy there that can shift quickly. So the explanation I always give is the rubber band analogy. So if you pull back on a rubber band, there's a lot of resistance. It's staying stuck, but there's a lot of resistance. When you let go, the rubber band will shoot forward. That's what happens in situations like that. I want the car, but it's not coming. 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 You know what? I don't even want this car anymore. Boom, shoots into place because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only transferred from one to the next, which you may have heard before. Okay, so that's the trick with that. If there's anything big you guys want, like really getting on board with, I don't even want it anymore. Why do I not need this? I don't even care. It works every time. Hi, Diane. Thank you so much. Jeanette, why does it seem like I'm manifesting for others instead of myself? For example, when I try to manifest a friend group or a luxury car, it quickly happens for my husband instead. Well, isn't your husband lucky that you're doing all this work for him? Okay, so what I've seen this before, and this situation can cause us in the short term to feel like a sense. I'm not saying you're feeling this. I'm saying I've done this before, and it would cause me to feel a sense of envy or a sense of jealousy, almost like why did he get it? I wanted it. All right. So, but what we want to do is we want to validate what's going on here so that we can get the energy moving more towards you. Not that your husband doesn't deserve a luxury car or friend group. So what I mean by this is like if you're putting something out and you're seeing it show up, that means that you're manifesting. Your focus is coming through to fruition. You're getting closer, not further away. You get it? So like if your husband, just like I was saying before, the people that you're around are going to impact what you manifest anyway. If your husband gets a luxury car, that's going to be more likely now that you're going to get the luxury car. It's closer in resonance with you. So I would be validating that I'm manifesting this. Look, I manifested this. I was thinking about it and I'm seeing evidence of it. So it's getting closer. And not only that, because it's closer, now it's going to teach me more about how to have it myself. This is something I actually talk about with luxury cars quite a bit because I didn't used to drive them. I used to, the first car I owned, by the way, was a Chevy Cavalier, 1997. It was it was a manual transmission. It did not have air conditioning. I live in Florida. Okay. All right. So That's where I started. And today I do drive luxury cars. Now, it's this thing that Jeanette's talking about right here that caused the change. Always wanted nice cars. But once I learned about the law of attraction, I started to understand that if I saw them on the road, I wanted to appreciate them as I having been the person who manifested them. So if I see or if I saw a Mercedes on the road, instead of getting envious or like, why can't it be me? Why is it this other person? I would tell myself, oh, I just manifested a Mercedes on the road next to me. I just manifested a BMW in the parking lot. I just manifested a Maybach on the freeway. And so now I'm taking ownership of all of those luxury cars. I manifested that car. I manifested that car. I manifested that car. And what that did for me is that now I manifest nice cars. And even when I'm not manifesting my own personal cars, I'm ending up at car shows or I'm ending up at car museums. Nice cars are around me all the time. So I would say you're on the right track. Just change how you're looking at it. That's it. Crystal Rose, can you talk about how you were able to be around these types of people before you had money? Do you mean when I didn't have money, how was I around wealthy people? At first, you'll have imposter syndrome. I'll tell you that much. So, like when I first started playing around with this, the one thing I would do is I would book nicer hotels or I would go to nicer restaurants. And at first, I did feel kind of out of place. All right. So, you won't necessarily feel wealthy right when you walk in the door, but that's a good thing because what's going to happen is you're going to learn. So, I would focus on learning when I'm around these people are here to teach me something. What am I learning from these people? So instead of me being all hung up on, well, I don't have the right hair, I don't have the right clothes, I don't have the right mentality, I'm sitting there feeling like I am wealthy because I'm sitting here with the ability to learn so much from the people around me. How are they dressing? How are they acting? What are they talking about? What are their belief structures? Go in there from the perspective of the observer and realize that if you have imposter syndrome, I had it. Okay, it will happen. That's part of it, but it's not that big of a deal if you're able to think about learning. It's kind of like being in a class. If you go to a class and the teacher knows a lot more than you, but you're sitting there absorbing from that person, you don't feel envious of them. Okay, so that's what I'd be focused on in those situations is how much can I learn while I'm here? The homesteading agent, I don't have anyone rich to hang out with. Can I pretend those around you are? You don't have to necessarily hang out with rich people right away. I would just try getting around wealthier areas if I could. And if there are no wealthy areas around you, start watching like programming with wealthy people in it. Read their newspapers or their magazines. Like if you're gonna look online for stuff, look for things like buying yachts, buying planes, like visit those kinds of sites so you can kind of get more in resonance. The more you're around that mentality, the more people will show up. So just because you don't have people to hang out with doesn't mean you can't start playing with that. Just be creative. Where am I sticking my nose into? Am I sticking my nose into the world of poverty or am I sticking my nose into the world of wealth? And you want to go over here with the wealth as much as possible. And the more you do that, the more people will show up that you can hang out with. It'll become normal for you. Kenny says, I used to feel uncomfortable having around 2000 cash in my wallet, but now it feels comfortable. Exactly. You might think that's nuts to carry around that much money. I know when I'm out and about, if I happen to pull that out, people will like gasp, like, "Oh my gosh, what do you have that money for?" But you get used to it. And once it feels like nothing, now you're really golden because 2000 is not a big deal, right? The more you can carry, the better. Oh, I hear the lawn care firing up. Just another reminder, guys. Again, my magnetic appeal program is on sale this week only. So if you're interested in love attraction, that's a program for people who are interested in love attraction, whether you are single or maybe you're dealing with an ex, a specific person. Maybe you're even married, but the passion has drained out of your marriage. This is a program that's going to show you how to magnetize in the kind of romantic attention and passion that you want. Not only that, but keep it for the long haul. Okay, so how to amplify that over time. A lot of people struggle with their marriages and their partnerships getting stale over time. This will really show you not just how to attract them, but how to make it blossom into something wonderful. Also, this program really does focus on self-worth issues because self-worth issues are usually common when we have a hard time attracting love. Again, this program is on sale this week only. It's its best price sale for 50% off. I will not be putting it on sale for a whole other year. So, if you are at all interested in that program, make sure to check it out. I have a link on Facebook and on YouTube where there's an informational course video and a very long-winded description so you can see what all is included. If you decide to sign up, make sure to use the coupon code CONNECT at checkout. CONNECT, that's CONNECT, to get the 50% off. And again, I'm sure Mary's going to drop that down again for us. Yes, she already did. Thank you so much, Mary. And yeah, I wish I had more time to answer all these questions, but my long guy is telling me it's time to sign off. So I will be back on Sunday at the same time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And instead of Facebook, I'll be over on Instagram. So if you're on Facebook, please come join me either on YouTube or Instagram on Sunday. But thanks again, guys, for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed today's live. I hope you guys have a great day. Okay. I'll see you at the next one.